Yo, what's up guys? James Carter TV, and as promised, here I am to talk about the NFL Black Monday head coach firings, as I said yesterday in all of my game recap videos. So here I am to talk about it, because there's a lot of head coaching firings that went on today, and I'm pretty sure that there's one or two more to come later on in the week. But let's talk about the Black Monday and also what happened, yesterday, because one coach was fired yesterday, and I, talked about that a little bit in, I believe, my Chargers Chiefs recap. I don't remember which one. But let's get into it. Okay, NFL Black Monday. We already know. The day after the regular season ends, that's when all these head coaches, they get out the door. I mean, they get booted. Goodbye. And we saw that again, and we saw a couple surprises today. Let's start off with one that I really wasn't surprised about, and I believe that this is the most attractive option for someone that wants to be a head coach, and that is the Detroit Lions. This is the most attractive job to me. This is the best job to me because there's so much talent on this roster. They're so young on this roster. I mean, they still have a lot of upside. Matthew Stafford still has a lot of upside. Ndamukong Suh, Nick Fairley, Calvin Johnson. Well, he doesn't have much more upside. His potential is already... what am I looking for? You know what I'm trying to say here. A lot of talent, and he's locked up for forever, Calvin Johnson. A lot of talent. Reggie Bush, he still has some potential in him. A lot of talent. Candidates, they're going to be wanting to come to Detroit. Very attractive job in Detroit. Jim Schwartz, though, did he deserve to be fired? I mean, ultimately, I say yes. Over the past 5 years, there's been a lot of ups and a lot of downs. The ups obviously being that playoff berth, but they got killed by the Saints in that playoff game. When you go 4-12 last year, I thought he was going to be gone then, but they decided to give him one more year and went 7-9. And I said in my, week 15 predictions, if the Lions can win their last 3 games, they're making the playoffs. Turns out all they needed to do was win 2 of those games. They won none of those games, okay, against the Giants, the Ravens, and the Vikings, who are all 3 teams that are 500 or worse. They lost all 3 games. He deserves to be fired just because of that. You cannot fade like that down the stretch. Absolutely ridiculous. So get out, Jim Schwartz. He'll be a defensive coordinator somewhere, this upcoming season, though, because he still knows how to build a pretty good defense. I don't know about the secondary, though, because that Lions secondary has been terrible for years. He never got that fixed. But I'm pretty sure someone's going to hire him as a defensive coordinator, probably Jeff Fisher up in St. Louis. All right, now let's get to another head coach that I was actually surprised about, and that's Greg Schiano being fired from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a team that was started off 0-8, finished the season 4-4 to finish with a 4-12 record. I thought they were going to keep Schiano, but apparently, the brass, the front office, and then they weren't on the same page. Greg Schiano probably knew it. I mean, that's why Penn State rumors have been flying around for the past week. So he probably was much aware of the situation going on there. But they believe that Mike Glennon is their future quarterback, so I think they're going to try to build around him. And if not, next year's quarterback class looks very... wow. So they might as well just wait till next draft anyway. See what you have out of Mike Glennon before you say, oh, let's draft him. No, I'll just see and wait what you have in Mike Glennon, because I like Mike Glennon. I don't think he can be great, though. I think he can be good. I think he can be serviceable, but I don't know if he can be great, but we'll see. We'll see what's going to go on next season. As for Greg Schiano, though, did he deserve to be fired? I gotta say no. I would have given him 1 more year. If it was me, I would have given him 1 more year to prove himself, get a winning record, not make the playoffs. Making the playoffs in the NFC is very difficult. I would have just said, hey, Greg, go have a winning season. Not 8-8. A winning season, then I'll keep you. Because remember, last year, I believe the Buccaneers at one point, they were like 6-4, and then they finished 7-9, so that doesn't look very good. Then they went 0-8 to start this season, finished out 4-4. Not very impressive, yes, but I like to give coaches 3 years unless they're god-awful. And they did have a bad year, but they weren't god-awful. Mike Glennon came in there, they were better. They lost their running back. They had a lot of injuries. Everyone has injuries, though. Their defensive coordinator is a moron, so, he deserved to be fired, absolutely. But Greg Schiano, I don't know. I'm going to say no, I would have kept him. Next head coach, talk about Leslie Frazier and Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, I think he deserved to be fired, ultimately. But again, he had one of the weirdest resumes. Okay, he went 3-13 his first year. 10-6 his next year, went to the playoffs. And then this year it went 5-10-1. I mean, that's really not awful. But you really wonder why the Vikings were this bad this season. What happened to their defense? It absolutely went away. I mean, you expect Josh Robinson and Xavier Rhodes to be your anchors and your secondary. I mean, of course, problems are going to happen. Yeah, Harrison Smith got injured, and you can blame some of their secondary problems on that. But again, why are you relying on one player? Okay, you need to have depth for a reason. I thought they had terrible depth at the cornerback position after Antoine Winfield left, and we saw that absolutely, take place. But we'll see what's going to happen. Next season, who they're going to hire. I mean, it's very interesting. I think they still have a lot of retooling to do on defense and a lot of retooling to do on offense. I think this is a rebuild because Adrian Peterson's not getting any younger. The wide receivers, I don't love them. Greg Jennings, I don't love them. Cordero Patterson, he knows how to make plays. You have something there. Quarterbacks, they're awful. Defense, for the most part, Jared Allen, he's done. Bye-bye, Minnesota. The linebackers, they're pretty good. Secondary, as I said, Xavier Rhodes will get better. Josh Robinson will probably get better. Harrison Smith. So the secondary could have something to build on, but make sure to keep adding players to that cornerback, to the secondary in Minnesota. But ultimately, the verdict, yeah, he deserved to be fired, Leslie Frazier. The fans were sick of him. I was sick of him. Everyone's sick of him. So, yeah, get out. Just get out. So anyway, Rob Chudzinski, yesterday, he got fired, and last year he got hired. Unbelievable. He didn't even have this job for 365 days, and he's already been booted out of the door. And the reason I understand is this, because him and the front office, they're just not on the same page. Apparently, him and the players are not on the same page. This is a source I read. The players do not like him. I heard another source saying the players do like him. So you get to pick which one you want to believe. I want to believe the players do not like him because I don't understand why you would fire a first-year head coach if the players are in great support of him. I don't know. But they brought in a lot of free agents. Paul Kruger, drafted Barkevius Mingo. Still not seeing results. But if I don't think he should have been fired at all because of the fact that, unless if the players really hated him, then yeah, okay. But, if you look at the fact that they traded away Trent Richardson, his quarterback got injured, Brian Hoyer, all this stuff happened with Cleveland. They were in a lot of close games for them. They almost beat New England, almost beat Jacksonville. Almost, it's not really good, but it just shows improvement because usually Cleveland isn't even on the same page, even on the same level with these teams. Okay, this is why Cleveland's always going to be, down there until they can finally just keep a head coach, keep him together, just keep that guy, let him build his thing. Because now you're going to bring another head coach, he's going to want to build his thing. He's going to get rid of other players, good players. They have some problems on the offensive line. Alex Mack's going to be a free agent. It's too much. You have to keep a head coach there. You have to let a head coach build what he wants to build in that organization. They did not do that. That's why they're going to continue to struggle to me until they give a head coach 3 years. Give him 3 years. Get a head coach. Give him 3 years. See what he can do. Then evaluate. Just do that. It's as simple as that. That's really all you have to do. They struggle doing that. Why? I don't know. But it's them. That's just the Cleveland Browns. That is the Cleveland Browns, and we're used to it. That's it. What else do you want me to say? Let's go to the NFC East. Mike Shanahan. This is one I left for last because we already knew he was done. We already knew he was out of here. Ever since his problems with Robert Griffin III had begun a couple months ago, which is just ridiculous, by the way. I've said this plenty of times. But we knew he was done. We knew he was finished, Mike Shanahan. I think he's going to get another job. Honestly, I think if he wants to, obviously, I think he's going to get another job. And I think he should. He's not a terrible coach. But you need to have a GM because Mike Shanahan cannot build a team. Okay, he had 4 years to build a team in Washington, and he didn't do it successfully at all. They didn't build a team. They went through all kinds of quarterbacks. Remember the John Beck, Donovan McNabb, finally got RG3, Kirk Cousins. They drafted, too many quarterbacks in that period. Too much. And you really didn't do a good job. Remember the whole Albert Hainsworth situation? God, the defense stinks. They tried to draft secondary players this year too little, too late, and that's why Mike Shanahan's out of there. So my verdict on Mike Shanahan, yeah, he deserved to be fired. And obviously Gary Kubiak, that's the sixth one. That was a while ago. We already know he deserved to be fired. God. So, I mean, we'll see other coach firings that's going to take place later on this week. But for now, this is it. 6 coaches have been fired, 5 today on Black Monday. What are your thoughts on all these coaches? Tell me down below whether I'm right or wrong, whether or not they should have been fired or whether they should not have been fired. I want to know what you have to say. Comment down below your thoughts on that. I will be back on Wednesday for my wild card predictions, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. James Carter TV. Check me out next time. I'm out. Peace. Hopefully Mike Munchak gets fired soon, or I'm going to be on a ride. You better get ready for that. If Mike Munchak stays, I will be livid.